Ryan Reynolds here for, I guess, my 100th Mint commercial. No, don't. I mean, honestly, when I started this, I thought I only have to do like 4 of these. I mean, it's unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month. How are there still people paying 2 or 3 times that much? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be victim blaming here. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/save. Whenever you're ready.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
When it comes to towing, seeing is believing. That's why Chevy Truck's advanced camera technology offers up to 8 available cameras for 14 unique views, so you can focus on the view that really matters. Chevrolet, together let's drive. Learn more about Chevy Trucks at Chevy.com. Safety or driver assistance features are no substitute for the driver's responsibility to operate the vehicle in a safe manner. Read the Vehicle Owner's Manual for important feature limitations and information.
Right, we're here to do a preview of the Northern Premier Cricket League, one of the top leagues in the country, with some phenomenal teams playing up and down the northern Lancashire and Cumbria area. And joining us today to record this, along with myself and Hugh as always, is we've got, I'm going to blow some smoke up his trumpet here, and he's probably going to go, what are you talking about? I think one of the best young prospects out there in the NCCA and further beyond to come. He's still at uni, but Freddie Fallows is joining us from league winners Kendal last year. How are you doing, Freddie?
I'm very good, thanks, Ian. How are you?
Yeah, good to see you, mate. And thanks for doing this. Obviously, we saw each other down at Wormsley last week, and you had a little run out down there. It was a bit of a mixed bag for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was good fun to get out on grass, but I mean, didn't go too well in the first game, but nice just to get out on grass really and face bowlers and get away from the machines and stuff like that. So it was good fun.
Yeah, and how peculiar. We were talking before we started recording about weather and the state of grounds around the country, and we were at Wormsley last week. It was like being in the middle of summer somewhere, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was completely different. It was like I remember I got back and the next day I was like red in the face from having a tan, and it was like dead hot there as well. So it felt weird. Felt really weird, like coming back up to Durham the next day as well.
Hey, back to normal now.
A tan in April. Who would have thought it?
Yeah, I know.
I did hear the words, have you got a bit of sunburn? A couple of times down at Wormsley from various people. That says a hell of a lot, doesn't it? Definitely. It's what money buys you, you see. It doesn't just buy you fabulous ground, it gets you a tan.
And vitamin D. Yeah, get some vitamin D.
Definitely. Hey,
can't beat it.
Listen, you were part of the championship winning team for Kendal last year. Let's be brutal. It was a tight one. Went right down to the final day against Chorley. Now, you both won on the final day, if I remember rightly. But it was a very, very tight run-in last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I think it was actually, they ended up with a winning draw on the day, actually. They had Longridge 9 down with... We were following their, Twitter updates. But I think they had 4 overs to take the last wicket. And if they took that wicket, they won the league. Yeah. If they didn't take the wicket, we won. So we finished our game quite early. I think it was against Fulwood and Broughton. We were sat around waiting with absolutely nothing to do. So that was one of the better moments I think I've had in cricket, got to be said.
Fantastic.
And when you say one of the better moments, I've got to bring you up on that. How's that compared to Carter there last autumn?
Yeah, I'd probably say them to a top 2 by... Yeah, probably. I couldn't even think of what third place is. Them to easily my top 2. It's just one of those feelings that you just can't beat it, can you? Winning.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. You might say all kinds of stuff when things go wrong, but these are the words you really need to remember. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. They've got options to fit your unique insurance needs, meaning you can talk to your agent to choose the coverage you need, have coverage options to protect the things you value most, file a claim right on the State Farm mobile app, and even reach a real person when you need to talk to someone. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Let's look forward to 2024 then, Freddie, and there's been some movement around the league in terms of players. Anything stood out for you in terms of players who've been brought in and transfers around the league?
Well, the main one that happened quite early on, maybe not even a month after the league ended, I don't think, was Tom Higson moved from St Anne's to Garstang, which I think is he's been there for years, wickets, runs, doing it all. So I think he'll be a great signing for them. They've also signed Ernie Collinson, Garstang, which he's a guy who I've trained with in the Cumbria setup this last winter, and I quite like him. I think he's a great signing for them, which, I think that's a great signing for them. He can add in a lot. Obviously, we've signed quite well as well. I think signed Sam Sharp from Cockermouth to open the bowling. That's a good signing, I think. There's just loads, like Blackpool signed Andy Needham back as an Aussie Overseas pro. He's obviously got experience from before playing in the Ribblesdale or the Riddlesdale League.
The Ribblesdale League.
That one. He's got experience of doing that before, and there's a rumour has it that Stephen Cross going back to Blackpool as well, which obviously isn't confirmed, but
I was going to ask about Crofty because he's been picked for Cumbria.
Yeah, so the rumour is he's going back to Blackpool, which would be a great signing for them, obviously.
Because he's only got a T20 contract at Lancs, hasn't he?
Yeah.
It's going to have to come out in the wash pretty quick, that rumour, because there's not many days left.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Definitely. And you've missed one signing, obviously, as well, one of your NCCA mates.
Oh, yes, Sid's going to Fleetwood, yeah.
Sid's a cod.
Yeah, I was meant to be playing him on Saturday, actually. Meant to be playing him tomorrow. That's we moved to 2nd of June now, which clashes with one of our trophy games, unfortunately.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So you'll miss that one. I think that's a good move for Matt Siddle to go to Fleetwood.
Yeah, I mean, he always... So it's a lot closer to home for him as well, first of all. And obviously, everyone knows that Fleetwood's one of the grounds. Like our captain, Millsy, we always joke that there's the Chris Miller end, because it seems that every time we go there, he takes at least 4 or 5. So it's definitely will be a handful there this year.
Definitely, but it's been in typical Northern Premier League way. There's been movement, but without shock horror left, right, and centre. I think, hasn't there? Garstang have definitely brought 1 or 2 in because they've seen that small gap between Garstang, Chorley, and Kendal. They want to close that. The teams further down have just been strengthening the squads to make sure that they're coming up. And then you've obviously got the new guys this year from Settle.
Yeah, Settle, one of the 3 actually. I was speaking to our captain of some of the lads at the club. The other teams like Maudsley and is it Uxton or Exton? I never know how to say that one.
Exton.
Them two teams are a bit of an unknown entity to us, and that we don't really. They've obviously got to be decent size, and they'll sign well, bringing in people. But Settle, obviously, they won the Ribblesdale League last year, so they'll obviously all 3 will be good additions to the league. You never know where they could finish with all 3 of them.
And for the clubs down south, it just makes it a lot easier for them to get around 1 or 2 grounds as well, doesn't it? Whereas for you guys, a bit more travel. Yeah. Definitely. I mean, to get Exton to Chorley is a 5-minute drive.
Yeah.
I think Settle, I've got a fixture in August where I think they play Chorley on the Monday, and then Exton on the Saturday, and they're both away games, which I'm sure they absolutely love that.
Yeah.
You do get to travel a bit in your league.
Yeah, I mean, then for them, the teams around that area, like Garstang, Chorley, Fullwood, they've got 10, 15-minute drives, just one junction up on the M6, if that at the worst. But
you miss Leyland?
Yeah, Leyland as well. Yeah, you're not wrong. But then we've got a good hour and 20 to most drives, but I've had worse. Wait
till next year on Carlisle joining.
They are joining, yes.
At least you'll have a local club to go to.
I mean, it's still an hour and a half for us up the other way.
It's amazing, isn't it, how these leagues progress. Hey, let's look at some of the players who stood out last year, Hugh, very quickly. Let's look at the batters who stood out last year for you.
So Shubham Chowdhury, he did well. I assume was he Blackpool's overseas, Freddie?
He was Blackpool's one. He was a bit of a weird one for us because we played them 2nd or 3rd game of the season, and if I'm honest, he was nowhere. Like he got 5 or 6, I think, and our Toby Tyson, who's left us now, unfortunately, our left arm opening bowler, he had him in absolute all sorts, and we left the game thinking that he was really going to struggle in the league because you could tell he wasn't quite accustomed to like English conditions and stuff like that. But then I think the weeks after that, I think he went like 5 back-to-back tons or something stupid like that.
Yes. Is he coming back, do we know?
Yes, he is going back to Blackpool, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Fantastic. So Roshan Silva as well, Roshan Silva, another overseas possibly, is that right?
That was Chorley, wasn't it?
Chorley, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, that was Chorley's overseas, right-handed player. He was a good player.
Yeah, so there's a couple of strong overseas at the top. Michael Walling, Garstrang, he had a very good season, 776 runs.
He's always up there.
Is he? And then Johan de Silva at St Anne's, so 729 runs. Matthew de Villiers at, where is he? Longridge. So there's quite a lot of pros and overseas dominating the top of the runs last year.
Yeah.
But then we've got Alfie Dobson, 6th, who I've got here down as 18. Is that right? 18, 19?
Roughly, yeah.
Yeah, so he's a young lad.
I think he's at university now, but he'll be around that age.
Yeah, so he's down here as an under 17 last year, so he could be 18 this year. So that's a really, really good performance from him as a young lad. 630 runs at 33. So
I think he got 130 or 140 in one of those games. So
yeah, he's got 143 and is his high score. And then in ninth place, Hugh, we've got somebody called Freddie Fallows.
Well, I wasn't going to mention him.
Yeah, young enough to still be at university, scoring 546 runs, and we'll come to his bowling as well shortly, but with 40 wickets. Going forward, Freddie, what are you looking at doing yourself this season?
My main aim is I want to just improve on what I did last year. I would love to come out and be leading run scorer and leading wicket taker, but my main aim is I thought that, especially in the middle of last season, I extremely underperformed last season.
Right.
So I had a very good front end and back end, but I felt in the middle I struggled to even get a start and then get out. I was getting out on 6 or 7. Whereas I feel like this year I could definitely improve on what I did this year and hopefully get somewhere above, like 700 plus would be my aim, to try and get above that as much as I can.
Yeah, I mean, just that strike rate that you're hitting the ball at, obviously is going to create more risk. Above you in the league table, we've got people striking at 50, 60, 80, 50, 60, 50, 80, and you're striking at 112. So obviously you're taking that risk reward ratio and scoring 550 runs in the season. So to take that to 700, if you can keep that strike rate up and score those kind of runs, you'd be amongst the best in the country. No pressure.
Well,
I'll take that a stage further. In the top 50 in the Northern Premier League, there was only 2 players with a strike rate in the 90s. That's how far ahead you were with the strike rate. Ariane Vassani with 98. And the second one I spotted was Tom Hickson with 94. You were still 20 ahead of them when it comes to the strike rate. And is that something you want to continue to do? Or is it maybe just rein that strike rate in a little bit just to last that bit longer?
I feel like it'll probably stay similar to what it was, because I feel like last year I tried just to hit like every ball for 6. And I was still a very, very immature batter where I'd go with 112 strike rate, I'd go 5 dot balls and then a 6, 5 dot balls and a 6 kind of thing. Whereas I feel
That's
like
a good way to get 112 strike rate, I must admit.
Yeah. It was fun, but I feel like this year I'd hope that I'd have less dot balls and be more mature about it. But then to score 112 strike, I don't feel like there's much. I wouldn't need to take as many risks. I could easily score 120 strike rate and be not taking too many risks, in my opinion, and just hitting So I feel like I can keep it as it is, if not increase it.
So what we're going to look for, Hugh, is instead of 5 dot balls and 6, we're looking for dot 1.
6 and a dot ball.
Dot 1. And then 6. So at least he's had a couple of singles in there, and it's building up, isn't it? He's then at 130 instead, but he's still saying he's taking that risk just once every 6 balls.
Yeah, I think from certainly from my own piss poor batting and looking at people
That's
around the league.
That's his technical term, by the way.
Yeah, people around the league and all the rest of it. I think it's hard to force your nature. You've got the sort of the batsman in you is who you are, and then you can obviously improve that drastically, or in my case, go the other way. But you've obviously got that natural ability to hit the ball, hit good balls for 4 and 6. So if you can then embellish that further on, I think you've got everything heading in the right direction.
I think one of the things we'll be looking at with you, Hugh, over the coming years is we're watching your son Toby's trajectory going like that as yours goes like that. That'll be quite interesting.
I think we're going to pass each other quite quickly, I think, as in a few weeks.
Yeah, most definitely.
Well, he's already playing ahead of me on Sunday, so he's got picked ahead of me on Sunday. Bloody 12-year-old.
We're not going to go there.
Oh, such a clutch off-season pickup, Dave.
I was worried we'd bring back the same team.
I meant those blackout motorized shades.
Blinds.com made it crazy affordable to replace our old blinds.
Hard to install?
No, it's easy. I installed these and then got some for my mom. She talked to a design consultant for free and scheduled a professional measure and install.
Hall of Fame son.
They're the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings in the world.
Blinds.com is the GOAT.
Shop Blinds.com's primetime kickoff event. Save up to 50% off select styles, plus doorbusters. Rules and restrictions may apply.
What about the bowlers then in the Northern Prem? We've got some interesting. But let's come to the one that we find the most interesting, apart from Freddie himself. Shall we just talk about Mr. Grinley? Tell us about Matt Grinley, Freddie.
It's honestly, so before I played, I'd never heard of him. before, like the Friday or Saturday when we played them, I just had everyone at the club just saying how it's almost impossible because like he bowls it really, really, really slowly, but he just never misses. Like I want to say like a £5 note, just never misses that, and it's like the ball gets like caught in the wind and it's like drifts in towards the right-handers and away from the left-handers like me. And it's just, he just doesn't miss and bowls 15 straight from one end. So it's a proper challenge. And I spent countless hours we didn't play them in the second game because we got rained off. I spent that entire week thinking of plans and methods of anything that I can do. Just be like, can I switch hit him? Can I sweep him? Can I do anything to think of an option to stop him bowling the same place every single ball?
Yeah, I mean, it's proven that of his quality and his ability. You know, you've got obviously top overseas coming in here, and he's doing the same to them. It's not like he's just some sort of lad who's dominating a load of local lads. He's dominating serious pros with proven pedigree. So he's obviously got some star quality about him. But it's funny that somebody like him can exist alongside your pace bowlers. And I mean, looking at his average here, he's averaging 9. I mean, that's possibly the best in the country. I think that was probably somebody in the 8s for a seam bowler, but you know, it's absolutely fantastic numbers. And he does it. He seems to have done it year after year after year.
I was going to say, I've looked at the last 5 years overall. This is not just Premier League cricket, it's cup cricket as well, but he's taken 55, 53, 58, 61 and 62 wickets in the last 5 years. And he's getting better by the looks of things, because not only is he taking more wickets, his economy rate's getting better, his strike rate's getting better. And in your words, Freddie, you can't describe him as a spin bowler, you can't describe him as a seam bowler, not quite a swing bowler, wind bowler.
Yeah, genuinely something like a wind bowler. It's like what you said about how like he's conceding less runs as well as taking the wickets. It's like there's like I'm not going to say an urban legend because he actually is playing, but there's kind of thing where like someone talks, as soon as anyone says Matt or Grindley, it's just there's like half an hour conversation about how it shouldn't exist, but it does.
Reminds me of that. It reminds me, is it the Aussie players? They have a WhatsApp group, don't they, when they play overseas? And it was the Darren Stevens going to get you WhatsApp group. Well, I think there's a Matt Grindley's going to get you WhatsApp group in the Northern Premier League.
Yeah, I like that. I like that, definitely. Who else stood out though in those bowlers apart from Mr. Grindley and obviously Mr. Fallows at number 9 as well, Hugh?
Well, he likes his 9th position, as you mentioned.
He likes 9th.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a mix of seam and spin, whether we can class Matt Grindley as seam, but he doesn't seem to be spinning it. But yeah, we've got 60 wickets. Hareen Badilla is the left arm orthodox, I believe. So left arm's quite prevalent here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 in the top 10 left arm. 3 spinners, 1 seamer, as far as I can see. So Ian Walling, Garstrang, I suspect he's been around a while as well. I'm not quite sure exactly how long, but Matt Grindley 3 on 50 wickets. Declan Clerkin at Fleetwood, who I've got down as a 23-year-old offie. Is that right, Freddie? Is he
big full right arm off spin, yeah.
Yeah. So straight into the test team then, if he's a big tall right arm offie. And Caleb Bradford, who's popping up. So I've got Caleb, I think he's 18, Caleb, a left arm spinner, 44 wickets, and he also got some runs as well. So he's a real prospect. You know, have you played much against Caleb?
Only played against him twice. Played against him in the T20 as well. He was just hard to get away. Just didn't miss. Was bowled stump to stump. Nice and accurate, but he'll be a big loss for Longridge actually.
Has he moved?
He's gone to Richmondshire, I'm pretty sure, over here in the Durham leagues.
Oh right,
so
okay.
He'll be a big miss for them because
that's the same, yeah.
Similar to Grindley in the way that he just bowled from one end for them and allowed them to rotate at the other end. He was quite a big impact for them, I think.
Just looking at the averages, a lot of averages under 13, you know, you've got averages of 9, 15, 12. You know, there's a lot of wickets, you know, a high number of wickets and runs hard to come by off these bowlers. It was definitely a bowler's year.
I think there was a lot of teams where you'd see their team like forwards, Hareen Badilla, the guy who got the most wickets, and Grindley, for example, and Bradford. It was very much to not see them off, but if this guy only takes 1 or 2 wickets, we'll be in a much better position, which I think that contributes to when people concede not so many runs. Yeah. So I felt like just from me, for example, I felt there was a lot of times where it didn't matter what ball I bowled, it was just going to get defended back because there was a scene of how we saw Grindley, for example, of if you just get past him, get through his overs, then we can target the other ones, which I think that will contribute to the lower averages.
Well, I'm not sure if you picked up on this yourself, Freddie, but if you look at the bowlers who took 25 wickets or more, You had the lowest economy rate. So you were at 2.26. Hareen Budilla was at 2.78. And Matt Grindley was at 2.39. So you were still more economical than the living legend that is Matt Grindley.
Yeah.
Good old season, definitely. Let's look at the pros and the overseas in the league, Freddie. There's a good smattering of pros and overseas, always has been in the Northern Prem. Who stands out for you in terms of the ones to watch who've already been there, done that, and also the ones who you've seen coming in and you're hearing the whispers to think they're going to make a difference?
Also, I said Needham going to Blackpool. That's a big overseas one who's got experience as well. He's not an unknown entity to them. He knows that he's not a guarantee, but he's a proven suspect in the leagues.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, if Crofty has gone to Blackpool, then that's massive for them with what he offers: bat, ball, field, captaincy. He can do it all, really.
Mm-hmm.
Netherfield obviously signed a Tasmanian pro. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but from what I've seen of him, he looks like he's going to be a good addition for them. Garstang, they've signed Imran Butt, who's played Test match cricket before, so he's got to be quite good if he's played Test. Chorley have lost Josh Pistorius.
Mm-hmm.
But then they've signed a new South African. They've obviously got the Moultons as well, who are always just going to just be there.
Be an interesting year, definitely. So who's going to be the shockers? You've got 13 teams in the league this year. Who's going to be the shockers for you when you look around the league and think that club's going to make a difference and we didn't expect it?
I'm going to back my team, Kendal, to surprise everyone to go back to back. That's my first one. I'm backing us to do it again.
I like that because that's
not surprising everybody going back to back.
No, but come on then, Hugh. No one's done that yet.
Yeah, everyone says, "Oh, well done, you've won the league," but you won't do it again.
Right.
Even I speak to my dad saying, he says, "Oh, you'll finish fourth at best," kind of thing. But so I think I'm backing us to surprise people and do it again, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
Garstang, obviously they've signed very well with Hixon and Ernie Collins, like I said, and obviously they've got the Walling brothers who are always there, up there in the runs and the wickets like we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's necessarily a shock for people, but people I just expect they'll always be up there, always be in and around. Blackpool, actually, just looking at, I didn't have them down as a team that would not be able to shock people, but would shock people. But just looking at the signs they've got in Needham and Croft potentially. Grindley, got another seamer called got Harry Berkman who's playing twos as well, so they're a team that not necessarily a dark
and I think
horse.
they would have been disappointed where they ended up last year as well, wouldn't they?
Yes, I agree. Yeah, I feel like they're not necessarily dark horses because they've got a great side, but I feel like they'd be a little bit under the radar when you'd see teams who are expecting it to be a Kendal or a Garstang or a Longridge who've won it in years gone by and got runners up in the Lancashire last year. So I feel like Blackpool could be a little bit of a underrated team that could just be a little bit of a bogey side for us.
I think it's fair to say from what you're saying, Freddie, your prediction is anyone who beats Kendal will probably win the league.
Yeah. If they can beat us, they're probably going a long way to winning the league. Yeah.
Yeah, which is not bad. And you are the first of the previews that we've done, and these will all be going out over the coming weeks. And you're the first one to actually say that, which I back you on that all day. You'd rather than just go with that team who's come up like Exton or Settle. They could create a shock here and there, but we know in the Northern Prem it's difficult for those teams to jump up and be all the way up there from the start, isn't it?
Yeah, well, they could, because as I said with Exton and Maudsley, they're completely unknown entities to me. Anyway, so for all we know, they could come out and finish third, but that's kind of thing where there's that many good teams in the league that it's really hard for them to come up and just hit the ground running straight away. So if I shock people, I read it as would people who I think could win the league and not be expected to win the league. Whereas those three teams that could come up, for all we know, they could be second, third and fourth. They could also be 11th, 12th and 13th, like anyone could be.
So coming to predictions for the season, I note he did say they could be second, third and fourth because he's sticking with who's going to win it.
Kendal.
And you've got your name on there, haven't you?
Oh, yeah, we're winning it again. I'm sticking by that.
This is the first person that's not sat on the arse right on the middle of the fence, isn't it? I think there's been a lot of fence sitting going on, so this is great.
Yeah.
There's always a lot of fence sitting going on, or so-and-so thinks it'll be this, or so-and-so thinks this is a top quality player saying we're going out there, we fancy ourselves this year from day one.
There you go.
Subject to caveat weather.
Yeah.
What else? Weather and more weather, because we all know how unpredictable the Northern League can be, can't it?
Yeah.
It's kind of like we won it last year and we we say the reason we deserve to win the league is because we had no right to win it at all.
Mm-hmm.
We were 12 for 5 on like 4 occasions, I think, rained off like 5 games in a row. And the way it happened on the last day, it was like an Amazon documentary, if anything. So that I think the reason that we won it when we had no right to win it at all. Mm-hmm. And then we've all got better. We've signed very well, I think. So I think we've got better. And if you won the league last year and you've got better, I can't see myself thinking of us not winning the league, in my opinion.
Well, I've seen this week our friends at Wales National County starting a little documentary series called Behind the Dragon. Just trying to think what the one at Kendal could be called.
Behind the mint cake.
Behind the what?
Mint cakes. Kendal mint cake.
Guess what this preview's called? Behind the mint cakes. Our friends Matt Dando Thompson and Brad Wadman will love that one without a shadow.
Diabetes Anonymous, yeah.
And yourself, Freddie, you're going to have a busy season on. You're going to be playing for Kendal and then obviously playing in the NCCA as well. How much are you looking forward to the NCCA season?
I think there's the opportunity we've had already. I know we've only been together 3 or 4 occasions now, but just the opportunity we've got ahead of playing against first-class counties and like just the opportunities that's bringing forward, and it's just awesome to get myself and hopefully give myself a platform to show what I can do. Yeah, I'm just really enjoyed opportunities we've had so far with days at Loughborough and the day that we had at Wormsley, but also like the opportunities to look forward to hopefully just improve myself within the group, because there's just that many quality players. Also get opportunities to play against better opposition and just put myself on a platform to show what I can do and hopefully help me move forward with my career.
Well, you've got those T20s coming up in May, which have already been announced against Leicestershire at Uppingham and then at Grace Road. You've also got I think there's a game again, the 3-day game against Hampshire, or was it a 1-day game?
I think it was a 1-day game.
Now. And you've got one at Sussex. And then you've also, on end of May, little trip to Wimbledon if you're available for NCCA representative team to play in the T10, coming to Wimbledon for the first time with European cricket. And I'm sure if you're available, you'd love to be part of that group again.
Yeah, that was one of the best 2 weeks of my life. That was seriously good fun out there. And so any opportunity I got to do that again, whether it be in Wimbledon, Cartama, or Portugal, where the Western Shield was, whatever. If I ever got the opportunity again, I'd definitely say yes.
And that's great. We can see from the outside in this T10, what shall I call it, juggernaut that European cricket have developed is becoming just bigger and bigger and bigger. And the quality that's out there, I know you will have spoken to the guys who played it 2 and 3 times over the years, is getting better across the whole of Europe. It was a challenge for you guys last autumn out in Spain. Let's be honest, no one expected Basil George to give you the shock that he did from Malta. And it was the Swiss that beat you, I think I remember rightly. England get bit by Switzerland in cricket. Come on, guys, what are you playing at? But it was a long-term approach to winning that championship and cemented. You guys as a squad, you've won as England. That's the main thing.
It was just even when you say, just to be able to say that, however much it isn't the ECB playing for England men's first Test match, it's just having the pride to be able to say I've won a competition representing my country. On European cricket, as you said, it's absolutely massive. Like the amount of messages and but just seeing how big it is. It really is. Really makes you feel really good about you've actually done something which is as big and as viewed as it is. It's absolutely massive in India. The amount of the millions of people that have watched the streams and videos and watching you play is quite a surreal feeling. Actually, if you told me this time last year that I'd have played on European cricket, playing a T10 competition for England, playing against the Netherlands and have millions of people watch you play cricket is absolutely bonkers.
I mean, let's be honest, you had a ridiculously good year all round. I mean, I'm just looking now, you played 62 games of cricket in some shape or form last year. God, to be young again, Hugh.
Crazy like that,
Yep, that's it, yep. I didn't like being young. I'm quite happy.
62 games of cricket, 1,200 runs. You had a year, and I don't think you're probably going to play quite as many this year because that's an incredible amount. But although T10, it could easily get up to that number again. But you've got some highlights ahead without a shadow to look forward to, haven't you?
Yeah, obviously, as you said, they're probably going to be a lot less than last year simply because the weather, fingers crossed, will be improving. But saying that, I think I missed 7 or 8 games for Kendal rain related. So that could always be the same, if not more. It's just one thing I'm, like you said, just making the most of it as I'm young, trying to just get as many games in as I can.
Absolutely, and we would back that 100%, definitely. Hey, listen, we're recorded this just over a week away from the start of the Northern Premier League, having been put back to the 27th. I think you got your first NCCA game the following day, is it? On the 28th as well, is it?
Yes.
Got T20 the following day.
Away against Northumberland.
So you got a busy weekend ahead there to get going. Fingers crossed for the weather, holding a little bit at least and finding a bit of a ground. Hopefully. We'll look to follow up with you over the coming weeks, and we'll obviously talk to you with the NCCA guys when we get together. But thanks for coming on today, Freddie, and talking about the Northern Prem and telling us a bit more about a lot of people that we've heard a lot about last year in terms of stats, but now we know a bit more about the legends that are the Grinleys and the Critchleys. And let's just see it. If Crofty turns up at Blackpool, how quick will it be before we get him on the Premier League Cricket Show? Thanks for your time, Freddie.
Thanks, Freddie.
Cool. Cheers. Thanks for having me, guys. See ya.
Thanks for listening to the Premier League Cricket Show. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future episodes and stay updated on all the latest news, views and discussions from around the Cricket's Premier Leagues. And be sure to follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, and Instagram at TPL Cricket Show on both. Join the conversation, share your thoughts and connect with us and your fellow Premier League cricket fans. And hey, if you enjoyed the show, why not show us some love? Leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast platform, as it helps other potential listeners to find us when they're searching for cricketing podcasts. Thanks again for being part of the Premier League Cricket Show family, and until next time, have a good one.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.